Hello, this is Bruno with Linguistic Team International. In this tutorial, we're going to explore the configuration of Visualsubsync, the process of creating a project, as well as the essential features of Visualsubsync. For the purposes of this video, we'll assume that you have downloaded and installed Visualsubsync, which we'll call VSS from now on. If not, go to the description of this video, where you'll find all the necessary resources. Let's begin by organizing our workspace to use VSS efficiently. We recommend creating one folder per transcription project, which we'll use to store all the required files. Before we get started, we'll add the video file and the subtitle file to Timeshift in our work folder. VSS uses project files to store personalized settings. When a project is created, we'll see certain extra files appear in the folder. A peak file, which contains a highly simplified version of the sound which we'll extract from the video. A scene change file, which contains additional configuration information related to the project. A WAV file that contains the sound from our video, which we'll extract using VSS. And finally, a VSS project file, which will allow us to reopen the project later on. This is the default VSS window we get when the program is running. Let's configure some basic settings by clicking on Edit, Preferences, and then open the Subtitle tab. We have to make sure that we get the values shown here: the 18 characters per second target, the minimum subtitle duration of 1.5 seconds, a maximum subtitle duration of 6 seconds, and a blank between subtitles of 140 milliseconds. Once those values have been changed, we can click on OK. We'll now create a new project based on the files we prepared earlier. Let's click on File, New, which opens up the Project Property window. We're going to add the video file to the project by clicking on the Browse button. Then there's the audio part, which we'll leave aside for now. Next is the subtitle file, and just like for the video, we'll grab it from the hard drive. If the file doesn't exist yet, that is, if you actually transcribe the whole video, VSS will create the subtitle file for you. Then there's the Reference VO section, which is an optional subtitle file that you can show in your project. This feature is very useful for translators who want to proofread subtitles, because they'll be able to view the original and the translated version side by side. And finally, there's the project file, which by default will be created in the same folder as the video, unless you choose otherwise. This file will allow us to reopen the project. Let's click on Create New Project. VSS will open the audio extraction window and scan the video to search for audio streams. In most cases, there's only one audio track per file, so here we just click on Convert to reduce file size. We choose this option because it will generate a smaller audio file, which VSS will be able to manipulate without too much delay. Let's then click on Extract. VSS will close the window on its own when the extraction process is finished. Our project is now ready to go. Note that you can change the project properties at any time by clicking on File, Project Properties. Let's have a quick tour of the 6 panels in the project window. There's the Waveform Monitor, where we can adjust timestamps, the Video window, where we can visualize subtitles as they would appear on the video, the Controls, allowing us to control audio and video playback, the Subtitles panel, showing the timestamps and the text for all subtitles, the Text panel, showing the character count for the selected line and the string itself, and the Statistics bar, which displays very useful information about the selected subtitle string. Let's now examine how to create and manipulate subtitle strings. When you click on the Waveform Monitor, you'll see a yellow line appear. This line shows where the playback will start if you click on Play. You can stop playback with the Stop button, but we strongly advise for you to use the keyboard shortcuts to facilitate playback. F1 is used to play the video, and Escape is used to stop it. Once you've listened to the audio and have a visual idea of where the string will stop, you can select the area with the mouse and adjust the starting and end points by grabbing the corresponding vertical sliders. When your string is ready to be created, right-click on the waveform monitor and click on Add Subtitle. The subtitle and its timestamps will appear below. To delete a subtitle, right-click in the area of the string and select Delete Subtitle. Again, you'll want to use the keyboard shortcuts Ctrl-W to add a string and Del to delete it. Now that we've covered the essentials, let's take a look at some other VSS features. On the subtitle panel, you can select the columns to display by right-clicking on a column header. The RS column is very useful. It indicates the reading speed of a string. It uses color codes which allow us to visually identify how fast strings are displayed. At the bottom of the screen, you'll get the same indicator in written format with length recommendations. On the waveform monitor, the slider snaps to the edges of the string after or before it, while taking into account the necessary 140 millisecond gap between strings. VSS can also adapt the display time of the string automatically if you double-click on the end slider. We can also merge lines, as well as split lines at a given point. VSS has a spell checking feature that's accessible through the Edit Spell Checking menu. You'll find more information on how to install dictionaries in the description of this video. There are several extra playback features on VSS. The loop button will play a given string an infinite amount of times, whereas the play to end button will start from the yellow marker and play the video continuously. Once more, we recommend configuring the keyboard shortcuts to gain productivity. The keyboard shortcuts can be personalized using the menu Edit, Preferences under the Hotkeys tab. Finally, working with the video panel on will slow down the program since it needs to seek to whichever part of the file you are currently working with. We recommend using the video panel only to temporarily check the end result of your timestamp adjustments. If you double-click on the video panel, it undocks from the window. To hide the video panel, click on the clap icon or use the keyboard shortcut F4